We are going to be attempting to 100% Heroes of Hammerwatch 2. We'll need to fight challenging bosses, beat the game on increasingly escalating difficulties, rebuild a town, and level multiple unique classes to level 60 to get 100% achievement completion.
If you didn't think that was hard enough, we started this game when it had just been released, meaning there was little to no guidance. Heroes of Hammerwatch 2 is an ARPG roguelite, meaning your build matters. And when was the last time you played an ARPG without looking up a build guide? So with no guides and multiple achievements, still having a 0% achievement rate after 2 weeks, and our determination, we set off into the world of Hammerwatch.
Our first of many obstacles to come appeared in front of us. Whilst travelling through the forest, our path was blocked by a fallen tree.
I tried to use my axe to cut down the tree and Cooper threw some fireballs, but apparently the tree was made of steel. So we wish our horse good luck and headed south into the forest.
We approached this little guy who told us that we could get by the fallen tree by crossing the stream to the west, then head deeper into the forest to the north. He also warned us that the forest was dangerous and the road may have been blocked deliberately. Who was trying to attack us? We only owned a horse after all. Well, we did own a horse before abandoning it.
We took his advice and went west, crossing the stream and running into some bugs, which were easily taken care of. Maybe we were the danger in the forest after all.
We went further west before stopping as we heard a scream in the forest. This little guy came running up saying his camp had been found and attacked by a cult. Having an inkling that the cult was the horse thieves, we decided to help. We followed him north whilst he explained the increasing danger of the local cultists who had recently ventured out of their temples.
We arrived at Forest Level 1, a sort of tutorial run for Heroes of Hammerwatch 2. We killed some more bugs and had some fun learning our abilities. I was a warrior, whilst Cooper was a wizard.
We found a material cache, which gives us 1 wood and 3 stone. We then found our first trinket chest. Trinkets are items you find on runs that disappear at the end of the run. From extra health, to lightning infused dashes, to dragon hearts, this game has it all, and there are so many to discover. There are also trinket sets. Getting multiple trinkets within a set grants even better bonuses.
We picked up another trinket each before running into an equipment chest. Equipment does not disappear at the end of the run, regardless of success or death. There was a lot of different factors which made equipment good or bad, but for now we were completely clueless and anything was an upgrade.
We went further north and found the camp that was under attack. We were furious, and these very cultists were the ones that made us abandon our horses. We killed them all without hesitation, trusting the random guy in the forest who said these cultists were the bad guys.
The villagers praised us for saving them, and one of the villagers even opened a portal to safety for us. I'm not sure why he didn't just portal away earlier, but who am I to judge? We decided to talk to all the villagers first and meet the apothecarist and unlock potions. Then we stepped through the portal.
Through the portal we arrived and mingled with all the villagers. They warned us of the Dark Citadel, a mysterious tower being breached by the cultists. Spooky. After mingling with the villagers and exploring the land, we decided it was a beautiful place to claim as our own, so we built a guild hall. With that, we declared ownership of the land. We figured the others wouldn't really protest us being in charge, considering we saved their lives and were the only real protection they had in the forest.
An important mechanic was also explained to us upon arrival. Every level you gain on one class gives buffs to all other classes. Every accomplishment also gives you attribute points to all your other classes. We would usually get an accomplishment every 30 or so minutes without trying. But more on this later, as we completely forgot about it for the first 5 to 10 hours of our playthrough.
This is the skill trainer. You unlock skills with stars which can be obtained from leveling up or accomplishments. For now, we could have 3 skills. Jen as a warrior picked Whirling Axes, War Cry, and Warrior's Constitution. I as a wizard picked Magic Missile, Arcane Intelligence, and Barrier. Finally, this was the Attributes NPC. Attribute points can be obtained from leveling up or accomplishments. I put my 3 points into Intelligence, which boosts my spell power, spell crit chance, and spell crit damage. Meanwhile, Jen got distracted and didn't assign any points.
After assigning our points, after Cooper assigned his points, we decided it was time to see what these evil cultists were up to, so we headed north of the village towards the Dark Citadel and began our first ever run. We found this purple orb thing. It appears in runs to let you modify and upgrade your skills.
Whilst exploring the forest, we met these blacksmiths who agreed to join our village for sanctuary in exchange for their service. Then, these 2 others who temporarily helped us fight off the beasts as we headed deeper into the forest.
Just above us was a trinket cache. We were able to choose one uncommon trinket from here. They don't appear as often as other trinket chests. Then we found the Dark Citadel's entrance and received our very first achievement. For now, we had no way to actually get into the Dark Citadel, so we turned around and left.
We had made it to forest level 2. After spending about 5 minutes clearing up forest level 1, everything was going smoothly until...
Oh! What the f- Oh my god! Don't forget your potion if you need it. No!
I went into the chat!
Oh!
We got back to town and built the Hunter's Tavern. We were slaughtering beasts non-stop and decided it was time we profited from that. Beasts would now drop health and gold on our runs. We assigned our attribute points and both purchased an extra potion charge for 1500 gold. We knew we had to learn more about the Dark Citadel, so powered up and went back in for run 2.
We met another character in the forest who would give us free food, which gave us buffs such as 25% elemental resistance or 10% less damage taken. I mean, seriously, what a guy. We wanted him to join our village, but unfortunately he had crops to tend. We later found out a monolith which gave temporary buffs on our runs, such as 100% more damage or 100% EXP gain.
Cooper died here, but luckily I was able to revive him, in exchange for some of our max HP. We continued to head north and made it back to forest level 2. We felt prepared, as we knew the ambush was coming this time. Unfortunately, we just straight up suck.
I died.
Run 3 was similar. We made it past the ambush but died 10 seconds later. We'd managed to scrape up enough experience to both unlock our other skills, and after each run we would assign our attributes. We won't show this after every run as it's pretty standard stuff, but we did do it. Most of the time. Jen.
On run 4, we made it to forest level 2. Beat the ambush this time and then couldn't figure out how to get to these enemies, but more on that later. Continuing on, we had made it to the dark caves and were almost squished to death immediately. We picked up some more trinkets and discovered a shop for the first time. We could purchase up to 2 trinkets for some gold.
Further into the dark caves, we met a rogue in a dungeon which unlocked the rogue class and discovered the trader for the first time. He would offer us materials, skills, or trinkets for materials, skills, or trinkets. We continued on and made it to dark caves level 2. The monsters in the caves were strong, but we were stronger. Just.
After clearing the map and a few close calls, we had made it to the boss room. We managed to get the totem boss to stage 2, but we were quickly humbled. But still, the run was our best yet and we came out with plenty of gold and building materials.
We bought a blacksmith, which unlocked upgrades for our armor and weapons, and a training ground, which unlocked athletics upgrades. The blacksmith offered 3 upgrades. We bought the same 3 upgrades until I accidentally bought another.
Level 5. Oh, I just bought something by accident.
We had mostly uncommon equipment at this point, and we're both level 5.
We spent some skill points, checked out the athletic store, and assigned our attribute points. Run 5 ended similar to the prior run, but we did come out with some gold and building materials, so we bought the guild hall upgrade, which makes the town look nice, but also unlocks more building upgrades. Run 6, we died at the boss room. Again. However, we found a lucky imp. Lucky imps randomly appear and give us gifts every few runs. On this occasion, I got 10 stone and Cooper got 6,000 gold, which was a lot at the time.
We got back to town and bought a general store where we could buy and sell our equipment. We went on run 7, still couldn't get into the Citadel. This dog went Matrix mode on me, and we made it to the boss room with only 1 death. We still got humbled rather quickly.
Alright, let's do it.
We made it to the boss room yet again. It was looking dire. We had already failed the boss multiple times prior with only 1 death affecting our max HP. This time, we arrived with only half our max HP. Something was different this time. Believing we had no chance, we were primal, fearless, unbothered and flowing like water, dodging attacks left and right, and we managed to get to stage 2. Stage 2 was the ice totem. In past, I had stood back fearing the ice, but this time I stood close. We had made it to stage 3, the fire totem. We both had 0 potions left and were in uncharted territory, but staying fearless and close to the totem proved more effective than ever for the fire stage. Jen came flying in with a whirling axe to take the boss to stage 4, the earth totem. The stakes were high, our health was low and our potions remained non-existent. Jen had fallen, but the boss was low enough for me to finish.
Oh my god, we did it. We did
Fuck yeah!
it. Amazing. We did it.
It took us 8 runs and about 5 hours, but we finally beat the first boss. In doing so, we unlocked the combo skill, which popped an achievement. We were also rewarded with some nice building materials and trinkets to aid us with the rest of the run. The next level was Forest Level 3, where I almost instantly died to poison spores. Apart from the spores, it was going okay. We had managed to survive the massive ambush, and Cooper kept glowing purple. We were very confused at the time, but we had later learned it was the combo sphere in play. Each time we got 10 kills within a short time frame, we would get increased movement and weapon speed. We got through the Forest Level 3 with ease and entered the temple.
We began clearing out the temple, and even though we had half our max HP, we were confidently making our way through. On our way to the next level, we unlocked the Warlock class. We managed to make it to the crypts, and I quickly secured us another 2 deaths, taking Jen's HP from 336 to 127, and mine from 125 to 77. The run ended soon with our first encounter with a tower, which does tons of damage and is surrounded by so many enemies.
Although we had died, we were successful. We had come back with more gold and building materials than ever before, and both hit level 8. We bought the trading post, which allowed us to buy and sell wood. It was expensive, but very useful. We went back to the guild hall and bought the chapel as well, which allowed us to pick up a blessing for our runs and gave us minus 5% revival cost. We took a stroll around the village. It seemed that while we were out fighting the dark cultists, our villagers were gradually building our beautiful town. Some farms had appeared and a guard was occasionally on patrol.
Imagine if we get like houses and stuff and it like populates like as a city.
We once again went back to the guild hall and purchased the magic shop. This unlocked the apothecary building, magical upgrades, and enabled us to start our runs with a skill upgrade. It also allowed us to exchange trinkets for material at the end of the run.
With the building upgrades done, we assigned our attributes. Jen finished buying the athlete NPC's upgrades and we went on our way to begin run 9. At the starting screen we noticed 2 new options. One is Chapel, which allows us to pick 1 blessing before a run. The 2 current options are negative 10% damage taken and 10% more damage. I decided to deal more damage, whilst Jen of course decided to take less.
The second new option was the magical shop, which allowed us to start our runs with one of our skills upgraded. There was way too many options to choose from, but Cooper picked bigger fireballs and I upgraded my killing spree passive, giving me extra health regen. Run 9 started and suffered an early death due to cockiness from our prior runs, but then something amazing happened. Oh! The day has come! The day has come!
Finally getting past this barrier felt very good, and the reward on the other side even better. As we had beat the totem boss, we had unlocked the ability to skip it. Skipping the boss resulted in less loot than we would receive from clearing the maps normally, but would save us a lot of time.
Whilst clearing out Forest Level 3, we got our 3rd achievement for using 10 monoliths, which was really nice. We cleared Forest Level 3, the temple, and then made it back to the crypts where we had previously perished. With the shortcut unlocked, we would usually get to the crypts with about 15 trinkets and 3 or 4 skill upgrades.
We had our first encounter with this trap. Us being horrendous gamers decided to go through the trap for the first time together, and didn't see the button to open the door. We then encountered another trap. Jen, being so in love with me, decided to go back with me. It was close, but it worked out okay. Despite our horrible coordination getting by the traps, we managed to make it to Crypt Level 2.
We cleared Crypt Level 2 with little issue, besides almost dying to traps on multiple occasions, but we made it to the boss room. We were nervous but excited to see what faced us beyond the doors ahead. What the fuck?
Whoa.
With this boss, we pretty much just had to kill the cultists, who were worshipping the giant shadow face while dodging all the attacks. Cooper fell extremely fast, failing to notice the indicators of an incoming attack, and I fell soon after trying to revive him. Finding this boss had opened up many doors. Would killing this boss stop the dark cultists? Was this the source of their power?
With another big run complete, we had lots of building materials and gold to spend on upgrades. We built the tavern, which meant we could start runs with food and drink, which applied buffs to our characters at the start of our runs. Additionally, it allowed us to find recipes on our runs. We then bought the apothecary upgrade, which allowed more upgrades for our characters, and finally the hunter's cabin to level 2, which allowed for more valuables and health to drop from beasts.
After purchasing all of this, we went for a walk around and noticed some farmers and other buildings had started to pop up around the village. We checked out the newly built tavern, which looked really nice. It made us wonder how populated the village would become once the game was complete.
After a short stroll, we headed up to do our attributes. We both bought an extra potion charge, and Jen bought all of this. Jen then sacrificed some wood to the wood trader for a mace, not realising it was a one-handed weapon, which should probably be paired with a shield.
At the start screen for run 10, we had a look at the new food and drink options. We were both broke, so we opted for the hearty meal, which gave +1 to mana and health regen. For reference, at this point, we are both level 9, have mostly uncommon items, and still very little direction to what we are trying to build, equipment and skill-wise.
On run 10, I had some horrible positioning early on, which led to an early death. We also found our first blueprint, which unlocks the meal/drink as an option for when you start a new run. I hit level 10, which granted +3 intelligence for my current character and every other class. Every class has a similar accomplishment every 10 levels relevant to their primary attribute, meaning the more classes you level up, the better. Later on, I died to this trap, which was set off by Jen's spiders, and then Jen died from this tower. An imp appeared for the second time ever and gave me 8,000 gold, which felt incredible for the time, whilst Jen received an equipment upgrade on her boots.
We made it to the boss room once again. We got further than we did last time, but due to our low max HP, we did not manage to defeat him.
We arrived back to the village and we bought the blacksmith tier 2, which allowed us to upgrade our equipment and purchase more upgrades from the armorer. We also bought the training grounds tier 2, which allowed for more upgrades from the athletics NPC. Our skills were almost all level 3 now, which was hype.
We started run 11 and headed straight for the Citadel, as the warlock in town said he would meet us there.
I'll open this way for you. Nice.
To our surprise, we were allowed in, so in we went. We met a sorcerer and unlocked them as a class, and he explained that the more candles we light, the harder the fight. We decided to light no candles, beat up these shadow guys, and ended up in the dungeon level, which we later found out was the level after the shadow boss. There's more to this mechanic, but you'll have to stick around for that.
Jen absolutely panicked in this maze, which gave us a strong start with 2 deaths under our belt. Then, Jen panicked again, opening her chat mid-fight.
I'm in my chat.
I'm dead. Tank was asleep.
I was in my chat.
Very impressive. From these events, our max HP was so low that even the floor was able to quickly take us out. But somehow we made it to dungeon level 2 through this maze, and I was rewarded with a rare 2-headed staff. We died right after, but I was pretty happy with my new stuff.
We found out that the sorcerer had returned to our village and now offered spell-related upgrades. Cooper bought these upgrades. I bought a shield, some armor, and assigned my attributes. We picked our starting stuff and went back in for run 12.
We opted to avoid the Citadel this time, as although it would skip a lot of levels, it would give us 0 trinkets, but we did opt for skipping the Dark Caves as we still got 5 trinkets and a skill upgrade. After some effort, miraculously, we had made it to the Shadowface boss fight with 0 deaths. Jen went right, I went left, Jen went down hard and fast, but I managed to clutch revive using almost all my potions. Jen managed to maintain a combo and wipe out multiple large groups with ease while still damaging the boss. Meanwhile, my staff from the maze was turning the cultists to dust. With our combined efforts, we achieved victory and
We did it.
were rewarded with 2 trinkets and a nice piece of equipment each.
We went into the dungeons. We both had about 19 trinkets at this point and 5 skill upgrades. We ran into this for the first time. It basically lets you pick an upgrade or trinket, but you gain Shadow Curse. Shadow Curse massively decreases your armor and elemental resistances. The amount of Shadow Curse you have is the purple icon above our health bars. We cleared out the entire map and made our way to the boss room entrance feeling confident.
I immediately lost most of the confidence, almost dying to the floor. At the time, we didn't realize the hook on the ground hurt you and can be destroyed. Let's do it. Oh my god, look at the ground. No. We actually did some pretty impressive damage, but just didn't know we had to be dealing with these vine things, or would be taking pretty impressive damage ourselves. I dropped first, and then Jen soon after.
We got back to the village and managed an impressive haul of 15,000 gold and some building materials. Plus, we had gotten further than ever before. We purchased the library, which allowed us to change our combo skills and find trinket blueprints so we could upgrade them. Upgrading skills and upgrading trinkets used the same currency, so upgrading trinkets didn't seem worth it for now. We both bought some poison resistance, as we think that the plant boss deals poison damage. Cooper bought these upgrades, and I bought these.
On run 13, two exciting things happened. Number one, we discovered that there were small cracks in walls that when shot would open up to reveal a room with a trinket, equipment, or building material catch. Two, we got our first ever pink trinkets. These trinkets were awesome, but because we used the Citadel skip by the time we got to the boss battle, we had half our max HP and 10 to 15 less trinkets than usual. We lost miserably.
We returned to town and discovered 2 new buildings. We love seeing more people move into our village, and the thought of the map eventually being populated by buildings, villages, and paved roads was so exciting.
Not much happened on run 14. We took the Dark Citadel skip and found another 2 epic trinkets, but then died shortly after at the plant boss. Losing and feeling quite helpless to the boss, even though we found epic trinkets, had us thinking it was time to level other characters. So we had a quick look at the guild's menu. My wizard being level 12 would grant 36 spell power to every new class I created. Meanwhile, Jen's warrior being level 11 would grant 33 health to every new class she created.
With these juicy buffs in mind, we decided to create our new classes. I picked the rogue. The rogue's first active is Fan of Knives, a cone-shaped AoE attack. The second is Flurry of Blades, a circle AoE attack surrounding the character. Then 2 passives. The first passive is Slice and Dice, which basically means I gain attack speed from melee attacks. The second is Sidestep, which grants a guaranteed evasion every 10 seconds, plus overall evasion. We started off with a lot more skill points this time, so I leveled up all of these skills. We also started with a bunch of attribute points, so I dumped all of mine into Dexterity, which gives me lots of damage.
I decided to play Paladin. The Paladin's first active is Bless Strike, which strikes all enemies in the area in front of me. The second is Lay on Hands, a large AoE heal. The Paladin's first passive is Armored Knight, which increases my armor and grants a chance to block physical damage. The second passive is Conviction, so my melee hits have a chance to restore mana. I leveled up these skills, I put majority of my points into strength and a tiny bit into intelligence. We also spent some of our leftover gold on armor upgrades, athletic upgrades, and some equipment.
We got to the run 15 start screen and had a look at the magic shop for our new classes. We got to the first boss fight, and of course I dodged Cooper's heal, which ultimately led to my death. But he absolutely clutched and secured the win anyway. Unfortunately, we suffered a lot of deaths leading up to and during the boss, so we quickly got overwhelmed by a pack of wolves in Forest Level 3.
Back in the village, we built the Architect, which allowed us to alter aspects of our runs. Here's me reading them to Jen. So one is the map is explored for us already. One of them is all the towers are destroyed already. Don't know what that means. There's fewer enemies and levels. Traps and corridors are disabled. Traps deal 50% less damage or fewer elite enemies in the level. For now, these were a luxury we could not afford. We had both hit level 4 from the run, so we did our attributes, leveled up our skills, and went back in for run 16. In run 16, we used the forest skip to get past the totem boss, went through the crypts, and made it to the shadow face boss with only 1 death, but ultimately, we were defeated.
Although defeated, we did make some good money and were able to buy an extra potion charge each. We then did the usual dance of assigning attributes, looking at the stores, and leveling up skills before heading in for run 17. We made it to Shadowface. Cooper fell, but I was locked in, dodging every single thing in my path. Until I got nuked.
We arrived back to our humble little village and realized we had enough building materials to upgrade the guild hall yet again. This gave us a ton of new upgrades for the town and made the guild hall area look less like a shabby camp. Very cool. Look, this area up here as well.
Wow.
We started run 18, made it to Shadowface again. We decided to stay close by this time so I could heal Jen and take out the praying cultists, whilst Jen took down the larger group of cultists. Jen did fall towards the end, but she did enough for me to take him down solo. Wow. That was some good stuff right there. That was some
clutch.
good stuff.
We had made it to dungeon level 2 with only 2 deaths, and I managed to hit level 10. Knowing the boss was likely some sort of poison damage, we tried to get as much poison resistance as we could. We went in feeling afraid, knowing that we had helplessly died to this boss multiple times, and were both already missing so much max HP.
Whilst I stayed on the boss doing as much damage as I could, Jen used her mobility as a rogue to jump around taking out the plant ads as soon as they came up. I got heals online again.
I don't need them yet.
Oh my god, we're actually gonna do it.
We did it!
Are you kidding?
We got our achievement!
Melted him. Hey, we got another achievement. Let's go.
Yay, let's have a little celebration dance. Come here. Ready? And spin.
Very nice.
After a little celebration dance, we got our reward. A gold building catch, 2 trinkets for the rest of the run, and a rare piece of equipment. After checking out the new equipment, we went up the stairs and arrived at the barracks.
Barracks.
Whoa.
Oh.
What level
New
is this
spot.
area?
Level 15 and we're level 10. Even though we were severely underleveled and in an uncharted territory, the paladin heal was providing. Hell, even the traps were struggling to take Jen out because I could just heal her. We were having an absolute blast taking on hordes of mobs and having to sustain to just keep on attacking them with our underleveled gear. Being in such a high level area, we were consistently getting some pretty nice upgrades and discovering new rare trinkets left, right and center, which was super exciting. We had made it to barracks level 2.
Barracks level 2 was going well until a trap melted me and I had lost a little too much max HP to get out of battles, ultimately suffering 2 deaths. Yet we trekked on and had made it to the boss room of the barracks with about half of our max HP.
This is cool. Oh wow. This boss was bullet hell madness. We were going steady, focusing on dashing in and out of combat as the heal was on and off cooldown. My healing was impeccable, and Jen's movement was downright nasty, but unfortunately, Jen fell to the boss's scythe. I went to war with these two for a long time, but eventually died to the wizard's flamethrower-like attack.
The rewards for this run were massive, not even close to what we had been able to bring in before. 24,000 gold, 30 stone, 88 wood, and tons of equipment upgrades. And we went all the way to level 12. After the run, we had a little team meeting to discuss what was next.
We were stuck on that poison one, right? And then we swapped to these characters, and we flew past the poison one. Maybe we should get all the other characters to level 10.
I concur.
I love when you concur. Before creating new characters, we wanted to purchase some town upgrades. We really wanted the chapel for the negative 5% revive cost, but we're a little short on stone, so settled for the trading post upgrade, which allowed us to buy and sell stone. I checked out the costs and decided the chapel would have to wait because I was not paying those prices and wanted to save gold for my new character. We then upgraded the hunter's cabin, the general store, the training grounds, and finally the magic shop. We went to go explore and noticed some big changes going on around our small little town. Well, not so small anymore, I guess.
We unlocked this weapons mastery vendor at some point, but thought that star points were best used to level up skills for now. We then found the class promotions NPC, who must have appeared after the guild hall upgrade. This unlocks subclasses for each class once you hit level 10. Each subclass provided 1 active skill and 1 passive skill, and there are 3 different sets for each class. We will go further into the subclasses later on, but for now, new class time.
I opted to play a warrior, Jen's original class. I had 24 attribute points to assign, so did a mix of strength, dexterity, and vitality. I then went over to the skill trainer and leveled them all to level 2. From the previous run, I had 24,000 gold to spend, so made sure to deck him out early on with a bunch of upgrades. I won't show the gold spending next time we create a new class, as it's a very similar process unless you're like Jen and accidentally spend your gold before creating a new class every single time. Also, this was my guild bonuses at this point.
I decided to play a wizard, Cooper's original class. I had 22 attribute points to spend, so I dumped them all into intelligence. I also got my skills to level 2, bought these upgrades, and these were my guild bonuses. With all that being done, it was time to head off for run 19. First, the totem boss. Being familiar with the boss's mechanics, having all the attribute points, star points, and guild points from the get-go meant we could take out the totem boss with relative ease, only suffering 1 death.
Whilst in the crypts, Jen did this.
So cool, I love that.
Whoa, what are you doing?
I don't know, I got so distracted by my wand, I was really excited to show you.
Oh, that's so sweet. Next was the Shadowface boss. We took him down cleanly and without any issues.
Clean.
We then got to the plant boss. We almost took it down, but once Jen fell, I couldn't put out enough damage to kill the ads and the boss. Still, 17,000 gold was quite the haul, and almost beating the plant boss on the character's first run was an amazing feeling. We almost both managed to reach level 8.
Arriving back home, we upgraded the chapel and then the apothecary. The apothecary unlocked up to 4 potion charges, which was super high, but it was pretty expensive for now. You'd think that it would be free, or there'd be some sort of discount for heroes trying to stop the dark cult, but I guess not. The chapel unlocked 2 more blessings, plus 25% movement speed or minus 25% mana cost. We went in for run 20 confident with all our upgrades and got close, but still failed to defeat the plant boss.
On run 21, we managed to take out the plant boss, only to die seconds later to this disgusting trap.
Oh, what the hell?
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Run 22 ended similar, so we decided we needed to invest more into the power of friendship, and each decided to create a new class.
I decided to play Sorcerer. The Sorcerer's first active is Discharge, which strikes all enemies in an area in front of you in a cone shape. The second is Elemental Orb, a slow-moving orb that damages nearby enemies. The Sorcerer's first passive is Innate Powers, which grants you spell crit chance. The second passive is Elemental Affinity. Basically, you do more damage by using the same element in your spells. I leveled up these skills and put my points into Intelligence and Focus. I spent most of my gold on potion charges and poison resistance in preparation for the plant boss. I also had some gear from previous runs, which I could wear immediately.
I decided to play Ranger. The Ranger's first active is Mark Shot, which deals damage and marks enemies. Enemies with the Mark status take more damage. The second is Trap, which deals damage and slows enemies. The Ranger's first passive is Rhythm, which grants weapon crit chance and weapon crit damage. The second passive is Survivalist. You take less damage when hit for 3 seconds, the effect then goes on cooldown. I leveled up these skills and put most of my points into Dexterity. Before heading off for run 23, we also bought the Blacksmith upgrade. At the start screen, I had some food and drink, picked the Blessing of Swiftness, and picked this skill upgrade thinking it would help us take down the bosses faster. On run 23, we found another 2 purples. The Hellfire Scroll was very nice, but oh my god, gens suck. I have no clue why this is an epic item. It should be a common. We used to call it Arctic Slop, and it was the worst feeling to pick this item up. Anyway, we died after the plant boss, but here's Jen navigating a trap. You just gotta follow the saw blade in a clockwise like I am. Look. Oh my. You went the wrong way. Yeah, and now left. Oh my god. What? Okay. We would have to get through multiple of these types of things per run, by the way.
Okay, traps aren't my best work. Please don't show them that. Moving on, run 24, 25, and 26 were a total disaster. We couldn't even make it past the plant boss. We just weren't really clicking with these classes, so we got them to level 10 and went back to the warrior and wizard combo to finish getting them to level 10. Before going in for run 27, we decided to upgrade the guild hall and go for a little walk around.
Going into run 28, we did the usual of heading to the Dark Citadel to skip the Totem boss and the Shadowface boss. Feeling brave this time, we decided to light 2 candles for fun. The difficulty increased, but so did something else. Turns out, if you light 2 candles, you get a bunch of trinkets and 2 skill upgrades, something we had been missing out on for way too long, and it wasn't even that hard. We just thought lighting candles made runs more difficult, but it was just this room that became more difficult.
With our newfound power, we headed straight for the plant boss.
We literally just unlocked easy mode.
Yeah, honestly. Not only had we obliterated the plant boss with 0 deaths, we had made it back to Harbingers of Death without dying once. Cooper went in with big spins again and again, tanking all the hits and healing with his war cry, while I kept safe in the backline and showered them with magic missiles and fireballs.
Big damage coming in. Wow.
We did it!
Wow.
They were no match for us. Our next target, the cultist god.
The next room to conquer was the courts. At this stage we were both level 11 and loaded up on trinkets. We both held about 30 trinkets and felt more powerful than ever before. There were many enemies here, some with crazy lightning damage, some could even disable your abilities whilst you got hit by the crazy lightning damage. Despite this, we slowly chopped our way through every single one of them, knowing we had to do it, for the villagers' sake. We kept making our way through the courts and found the Enchanter, an extremely useful villager to have, more on her later. Trinkets.
We had made it to courts level 2 and then to the boss room. We had arrived at the Serpents of Demise with only 2 deaths to our name. Whoa.
That is so cool.
That is kind of
Damn.
I'm so scared.
Our damage was minimal, but our heart and will was massive. We slogged through hordes and hordes of skeletons they sent our way, my war cry barely keeping me up. I tried to distract the heads as much as possible, and Jen made fireballs and magic missiles rain down on them. Wave after wave they spewed skeletons on us. The war had raged on for 10 minutes at this point. Jen was out of potions and I was surrounded. I dropped low, but we were just too damn good. I think we're about to do it. Don't you die on me. You got this. A little bit longer. There it is. I died. I was looking at the achievement. I got too excited.
We grabbed our loot and headed into the Dark Halls, the home of the Dark God himself. It was finally time to free our villagers of the cultists and grant peace to the forest.
Whoa.
What is that?
I don't know, but it hurts and it's hard to tank. Oh my lord.
We tried our best, but one death led to another death, and ultimately our demise. The Dark God would not be fought today.
Although we had lost, we had gone further than ever before and come back with a large haul. 22,000 gold, 40 stone and almost 100 wood. We immediately went to the guild hall to see what we could purchase. Firstly, we purchased the enchanter building. Purchasing this allowed us to find enchanting blueprints on our runs, which meant we could modify the stats on our equipment. Then we purchased the tavern, which allowed us to start our runs with another drink. We went to check it out and oh my god, it was looking good. Oh, look at the walls now. Look how good that looks.
Wow, very
Okay, they just... Yeah, I guess they don't care that much.
Feeling overwhelmed by the final area, we decided it was time to level up some other classes. We felt motivated to get every character to level 10 for the global bonuses before attempting to slay the Dark Lord again. I decided to level up the Paladin, which Cooper had done previously.
Meanwhile, I picked a Warlock, the final class of Heroes in Hammerwatch 2. The Warlock's first active is Demon's Tail, a whip which slows enemies and deals damage. The second is Dark Ritual, a ritual which deals damage to all enemies inside, and if the ritual completes, massive damage is dealt. The Warlock's first passive is Drain Essence. You gain stacks of essence by hitting enemies with melee skills. Each stack increases your HP and mana. The second passive is Aura of Atrophy. You project an aura around you which makes enemies deal less damage. I dumped most of my points into Intelligence, and having 40k gold saved up, I was able to dump a lot of gold into this character from the get-go.
Run 29 began with the Warlock and Paladin combo, going on their first run. Impressively, we made it to the barracks, but the Dark God himself decided to intervene and delete Cooper mid-run.
Am I dead?
No. Am I dead?
Where am I? I can't see myself.
What? Feeling furious, we went back in for run 30, but after suffering way too many deaths, we decided to abandon in the courts. This was okay though, as both characters had reached level 10.
We created new classes. Jen picked Warlock whilst I picked Rogue. Run 31 we made it to Barracks. We hit level 7 and eventually died. Run 32 and run 33 was a failure. And then run 34 we decided to get to level 10 and abandon, as we just wanted to get the last character to level 10. For my final class I had Sorcerer.
And mine was Ranger. For the last two sets of new classes, we really wanted to try and hit level 10 from one run. And on run 35 I did just that. Cooper on the other hand fell short and only hit level 9.
This is so sad. Please like and subscribe.
Hitting a milestone of having almost all characters to level 10, we decided to buy another guild hall upgrade and go for a nice stroll around town.
With the power of friendship more powerful than ever, we decided it was time to put an end to the Dark God once and for all. We picked our favourite classes and put on our best gear. Then we both picked a subclass. More on these later, promise. And then we went in for run 36.
We used the Dark Citadel skip and lit 2 candles. Easy. This took us to the dungeons, we flied through the plant boss and cleanly took him out. We arrived at the barracks and then the Harbingers of Death. They were no match for us. Next, the Court and the Serpents of Demise, who funnily enough, met their demise.
Oh. No heals. We won. Good job. We had arrived at the Dark Halls, home of the Dark Lord. We started clearing the halls with me up front trying to block all the projectiles, whilst Jen hammered the enemies down with lightning. It was going well, and before we knew it, we were facing the Avatar. Oh, what? Oh, this is really cool. Yeah.
Are we fighting that?
This is such a cool map.
Dude, I'm scared.
Damn, let's do it. We got this.
Whoa.
Whoa. He's one nasty looking dude.
We didn't have a lot of damage, but Cooper's heal was enough to keep us in the fight. It took us a few minutes, but we got the Avatar to his next stage, where we had to fight these Shadow Cursed ghosts.
Yeah.
He reappeared, this time with even more types of attacks. We kept on fighting. We were edging closer and closer to victory with every minute passed, until finally, victory.
No way.
Oh my god, that was such a cool boss fight.
That was a really cool boss fight. I had a lot of fun.
Wow, I got some really good weapons as well for my class.
We went back to town and got an achievement for beating the Dark Citadel for the first time and received the biggest haul so far. The achievement popping for beating the Dark Citadel was nothing compared to the feeling of finally freeing our village from the Dark Cultists. They could now live out the rest of their lives in peace. Fade to black or something cute, I don't know. Here on out, we had very repetitive but fun achievements left, which involved getting all the characters to level 20, then to level 40, and finally to level 60. On top of this, we had to beat the game on New Game 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So moving forward, I'm going to focus on one class and how we got all the achievements involving that class, even though it may not have been done in the correct order, as we generally got all characters to level 20, then to 40, and then to 60. Our first class was the Wizard, and this was due to his guild card, which granted 3 spell power per level to each character. Somewhere along the way of getting all characters to level 20, we realized that spells outscaled weapons with pretty much every class. So the Wizard has 3 subclasses, but we started with Evocation. Evocation came with the active skill Meteor Shower, which basically just dealt big damage, but the main draw was the passive skill Incanter's Cadence. When upgraded, you could have 48% mana cost reduction, 48% faster cast speed, and 24% spell crit chance. This made the Wizard's best skill Magic Missile extremely spammable, as it already had a 1-second cooldown, and was powerful in boss fights for huge focus crits. Knowing this, we leveled our skills accordingly, and were able to put a bunch of skill points into trinkets from the leftovers. For attribute points, I put enough into my focus to infinitely spam Magic Missile, and the rest went into intelligence for damage. The prefix and suffixes on our equipment would vary slightly, but mostly stayed the same. Whenever we got a more powerful item level, we would just use the enchanter to change its stats to what we wanted. It took us a whopping 22 hours to go from level 0 to level 60 with the Wizard. Here's a little compilation of our level ups and the achievements that followed.
Nice, I got it. Yep.
Yay!
Level 16.
Nice. We overall found the Wizard very fun due to constant uptime on abilities and big damage. Wizard's motto is kill them before they kill me.
Our next class was the Sorcerer, which we decided to do next due to it being fun to play and very strong. We also knew that all other classes would be using intelligent-based equipment, which dropped from playing intelligent-based characters such as the Sorcerer and Wizard, so it just made sense. The Sorcerer has 3 subclasses based around Elemental Mastery. We picked Fire Mastery for one reason alone, which is its passive. The passive Fire Mastery increases your damage by 50% and has a 10% chance to inflict weakness. But the main attraction is that when it's upgraded on a run, you restore up to 4% of your health every time you crit. The Flame Wall's ticking damage, combined with the Elemental Orb's projectiles and the spam ability of Discharge, meant you could heal to full health in seconds. The Sorcerer's base passive, Innate Powers, enables you to restore mana from crits and can also be upgraded to grant increased spell crit chance. All this combined meant you could spam multiple abilities, continuously crit, which resulted in big damage, big heals, and constant mana restoration. For attribute points, I put enough into my focus to infinitely spam Magic Missile, and the rest went into intelligence. It took us far less time to level from 0 to 60 with the Sorcerer, with 14 hours logged. Here's a little compilation of our level ups and achievements.
Bang.
Yay, level 40.
I fear for your life. Hey!
Yay.
We overall found the sorcerer super fun due to the large amount of abilities being spammed that would cover the screen. It was super satisfying seeing your health drop to 10% and shoot back up, or being able to straight up tank hundreds of projectiles due to the healing through the damage.
Our third class was the warrior, which we decided to do next due to the guild card granting 3 HP per level to all characters. The warrior has 3 subclasses. We picked the berserker subclass. The active skill is leap, which does physical damage in a circle, and the passive is rage, which grants crit chance and crit damage when taking damage. The warrior's best ability is warcry when upgraded on a run to heal up to 30% of your max HP. Combined with rage's cooldown upgrade and some equipment enhancement, you can have very short cooldowns on a very large heal. The leap combined with rage and killing stacks means you can still output lots of damage whilst having an overpowered heal. For attribute points, I put enough into my focus to wear my highest level cape at all times, as focus capes grant large amounts of spell power. Then the rest goes into intelligence to scale damage and to be able to equip sorcerers and wizards high level gear. It took us a total of 13 hours and 30 minutes to level warrior from level 0 to level 60.
Yay.
Nice, level 40. Alright, Venom.
Yay.
Nice, there it is.
Level 60.
Honestly, the best bit about warrior was his leap. It felt so fun and goofy jumping from group to group of enemies, just leapfrogging around.
Our fourth class was a paladin, which we decided to play next for 2 reasons. One, the guild bonus was decent, it granted 3 armor per level, and secondly, the main reason is because paladin was extremely boring to play and we didn't want to leave him till last, ending the game on a low. The paladin is good, don't get me wrong, but with the subclass that we chose, the damaging ability has a long cooldown and was AoE, meaning you were constantly waiting around. By the time we got to this stage in our journey, the Discord was posting some viable builds for most classes. We only really saw people pushing higher NGs with the subclass we picked. We used the Divine subclass. The active skill is Divine Pillars, which summons pillars of light on your location and deals massive damage, especially when you upgrade it on the run. The passive skill is Divine Protection. When taking damage below half health, there is a 25% chance to go invulnerable for up to 4 seconds. The ability has a 12-second cooldown. The other subclasses could be better, to be honest, but they didn't really interest us. We kind of just wanted to get Paladin over with, so we didn't bother trying out other builds. For attribute points, it was similar to Warrior, enough points into Focus to wear the highest item level cape, and then the rest of the attribute points got dumped into Intelligence for raw damage. You can once again notice 0 points going into the Paladin's primary attributes, similar to the Warrior. This is because by this time, you're in New Game 7, which is what you need to beat to unlock level 60. You'll have minus 1000 armor by default, so it doesn't really matter who you play, you need to be dealing massive damage to survive, and armor has very little benefit. It took us 19 hours to level Paladin from 0 to 60.
Nice. Leaves immediately.
Paladin was really fun in the early game as the heal felt broken at the time, but once damage became important, it just felt like a slog to get him through the map, and I think that shows from the 19 hours it took us to level him.
Our 5th class was Warlock, which oh my god was so much fun and so cool. I mean, look at this, come on. Some dark ethereal blade that heals you and restores mana. On top of that, when you cast a spell / kill an enemy, you can spawn these lightning void things that can connect and just look amazing. Also, the Warlock just puts out so much damage. You just run through maps killing everything so fast. Going into the Chaos subclass, the active skill is Chaos Blade, which is a magical blade that deals big damage in an arc in front of you on a 3-second cooldown. The passive skill is Chaos Rifts. Pretty much casting a spell or killing an enemy can spawn a rift, which can link with others to deal ticking damage. There is so much good stuff going on in the Warlock class, it honestly just seems unfair to the other classes. Starting off with the base passive, Drain Essence, it can be upgraded so whenever you hit enemies with a melee skill, you restore 3% of your max HP and 7% of your max mana. Chaos Blade counts as a melee hit. On top of that, Dark Ritual can be upgraded to have a 10% life leech whilst in the ritual circle. With enough cooldown, you can have near 100% uptime on the Dark Ritual, while spamming Chaos Blade every second to restore mana and HP. I mean, you got so much mana that you can bind Chaos Blade and whip to the same button. Spam it non-stop whilst maintaining 100% uptime on Dark Ritual. It was absolutely goofy. Adding on even further to this, the second base passive Aura of a Trophy can be upgraded so enemies within your aura take 30% more damage. Any enemy you attack with the Chaos Blade or Whip was always within your aura. This was by far the most fun and overpowered kit in the game, in my opinion. 4 attribute points, enough focus to wear the best cape, and the rest goes into intelligence for massive damage. It took us 12 hours to level Warlock from level 0 to level 60.
Yay, level 60.
Yay, good job.
2 more to go, that's so hype.
We both loved the Warlock due to all of the pretty visuals that came with the Chaos Blade and Void Energy Rift thingies. Of course, the Summoning subclass also had me hooked as soon as I saw it.
Our 6th class was Ranger. We mainly picked this class because we wanted to end on a high note, with Rogue being one of the most fun classes to play. We were close to completion at this point. We were super excited but also really sad it was coming to an end. This was one of the only classes where we both had separate builds. I'm not going to fully explain them both as it will be a bit of a snore. I used the Beastmaster subclass. The active skill was Spirit Wolves, which seeked out nearby enemies dealing damage. The passive is Wolf Companion, which you guessed it, meant I got a pet wolf. Cooper used the Warden subclass as he likes to have a lot of sustain in games like this. The Warden's first active skill is Entangle, which covers a large area around you to deal physical and poison damage. It can also be upgraded to heal. The passive skill was Windweaver, which shoots out gusts of wind on weapon hit to deal damage, but honestly we found this ability useless and just wanted the heal from Entangle. Attribute points were stock standard, enough focus to wear the best cape, and the rest goes into intelligence. It took us 11 hours to level Ranger from 0 to 60.
Nice, level 60.
We both dreaded leveling Ranger to level 60 at first, as all the way up to level 40 felt really boring. But for some reason the class just clicked for us both on the way to level 60. I had lots of fun doing heaps of damage while Cooper became a tank and protected us.
Our 7th and final class, the Rogue. Initially disliked by both of us, but we both fell in love around the level 40 mark when we realised the Rogue was pretty much used as a machine gun to mow down enemies with not a care in the world. The Rogue was probably competing with Wizard for the most damage output and could melt the final boss at New Game 8+. We picked the Poison subclass due to its incredible synergy with the base ability Fan of Knives. The Poison subclass's active skill is called Toxic Cloud. The main attraction is gaining up to 30% evasion whilst inside the cloud, and it's pretty decent damage output. The subclass passive skill is Poison Mastery, means you can do 50% more damage with poison skills, and there's a chance to inflict vulnerability, which is plus 20% damage for 6 seconds. This 50% more poison damage combined with the Fan of Knives upgrades, such as deal 100% more poison damage, increase crit chance upgrade, and the base 0.25 second cooldown, meant ridiculous damage output. I mean, look at this thing. Finally, the Rogue took us 8 hours and 30 minutes, our fastest character by far. This was likely due to all the guild bonuses and equipment we had by this point, but also because his damage was insane and we pretty much turned his blade into a machine gun. In terms of New Game Plus achievements, they got done fairly easy along the way as we had to beat New Game Plus 7 to unlock the level 60 cap. New Game Plus 1 was beat whilst Jen was an Ice Sorcerer and I was a Summoning Warlock. New Game Plus 2 was beat whilst Jen was a Poison Rogue and I was an Evocation Wizard 2 days later. New Game Plus 3 was beat by the same combo the very next day. New Game 4 was beat whilst we were both warriors 2 days later. And finally, New Game 5 was beat whilst Jen was a Fire Sorcerer and I was a Poison Rogue. Final New Game achievement should be poppin'. There it is.
Trinket Attuna was achieved early on when I accidentally clicked on a trinket, spending a skill point. Discovering 25 imps led to the achievement Imp Empire, which we got about halfway into our playthrough. Combo Streaker is achieved by having 150 combo streak. This was accidentally achieved by both of us at some point. Finally, building 50 buildings unlocked the Town Builder achievement and was reached halfway through our playthrough.
So there you have it, that was all 37 achievements completed in 130 hours. Upon completion of a game, we like to craft a badge in its honour. Not the prettiest badge I've seen or the most relevant, but I will take it. Some final thoughts on the game, starting with 3 cons and ending with 3 pros. Scaling was horrible in this game. Some epic trinkets such as Hellfire wouldn't be enough to kill a basic enemy in New Game 7+. We're talking not even 5% of an enemy's health. This made the feeling of previously getting super excited for an epic trinket drop change to really disappointed because you knew it was going to be useless. Once town building is over, you use materials for run essentials like an uncovered map, traps dealing 50% less damage, etc. This became essential to not be one hit by traps and felt really artificial to me. I would have loved to trade 1,000 wood for a building cosmetic, or some furniture or some sort of outfit to show off to my friends. Balancing felt horrible towards the end, so spell power clearly outdamages weapon power. Every class was way easier to push with spell power, even though you think a warrior, paladin or rogue should be using weapon power. In all fairness, we beat this game within the first 2 or 3 weeks of release, so the devs are probably going to be working on this. Some pros. It's a fun, semi-relaxing grind to enjoy as long as you have a friend or a podcast going on in the background. The town building element is extremely satisfying. It was the best feeling to see a stone bridge instead of a wooden bridge, a guard patrol appearing, or even a farm beginning to grow. This was by far our favourite feature in the game. If you aren't trying to push New Game Plus, there is a fun variety of classes and builds to try out. It can be really fun once a build clicks and suddenly you are using 3 abilities at once and flying through a previously hard to complete map. Thank you all for watching, expect more videos soon with a similar style.